Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get ready to rumble. How are you doing today? Welcome to the Close the Gap workshop. This is day one. My name is Ashley Latimer. I am your official happiness coordinator, happiness specialist, prize giveawayer. Is that a name? I don't know. But who is fired up for tonight? Start putting in the chat. I'm fired up. I could already see the chat where you're saying where you're from. We're coming live to you from Dallas, Texas, and it's going to be epic. The only thing is I'm going to tell you, little pre-warning, we might break the internet. We might break Zoom. So they're upping our Zoom because as we were watching it, we have almost 700 registrants and we only set the Zoom room for 500. So if something happens wonky and you get kicked out, you'll get a replay. So don't panic. So tomorrow, make sure you save your seat. We'll up that for tomorrow if we have any problems in Zoom. So just hang tight. Are you ready to get really weird? That is what's going to happen tonight. My husband, Josh Latimer, has prepared some of the most epic stuff he's ever prepared. Now, he's going to tell you that he has poured the last year, 4,000 hours, $1.1 million into this. But I'm going to be honest, and I am actually going to tell you the truth. My husband has prepared this for the last 16 years. When we were in the trailer park and he was trying to start this window cleaning business and then he went full time when my baby was 6 weeks old, this moment has 16 years worth. He's built and sold 4 companies. I'm not even supposed to say this all of this right now, but I want you to know that this is everything that he's learned in the service industry, that he's learned with software, that he has learned with having a coaching company and doing marketing like a boss. So we're so glad that you are here. I hope you get some paper and 2 pens because you're going to be writing like a crazy person and we don't want your pen to wear out. But let me just get you really excited for some giveaways. Who's excited for some giveaways? Type giveaway in the chat. Let me see if we see giveaway. Oh my goodness, I see people. Look at you. Look at all ya. Oh my goodness, you guys are a sexy bunch. Wow. I didn't know we had the sexiest people on the planet here. Hello. Okay, so we're going to do some giveaways. The giveaways are going to be, we asked what you wanted and we heard you. We heard you. So we have Do Hard Things shirts. We have Slay the Day hats. We have date night gift cards. We have a special surprise back here that I'm not even allowed to say yet. And then tomorrow we have the grand prize giveaway. So there will be time for you to just still share and send that to eric.kelly@Warplan Studios. But you know what? I'm feeling pretty saucy already. So who wants to win a Do Hard Things shirt? Type in the chat, Do Hard Things right now. And I'm just going to pick the first person I see in the chat. Okay, don't get salty if you're like, I was first. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, it's happening so fast. Oh my goodness. Y'all are amazing. Oh my goodness. I saw Lindsay England. Did I say that right? Lindsay, you win a Do Hard Things shirt. And let me give another one away. Okay, it's happening so fast. I can't even see. Okay. Mason, I see a Mason in there. There might be a lot of Masons. You all win Do Hard Things shirts if your name is Mason. You're just going to email eric.kelly@Warplan Studios. He'll get your size, get your address, and he'll send you a Do Hard Things shirt. But we're going to be giving a lot more prizes away. So Mason and Lindsay, you win Do Hard Things shirts. But now let's talk about the good stuff because we've got to get ready. Okay. Are you stretched out? Did you eat dinner? did you put the kids to bed early? Did you turn Star Wars on? What did you do? I don't know how you had to prepare for today, but I know that it wasn't just you turned Zoom on and you're ready. You had to do a lot of things. But here's what my promise to you is we are going to give everything we've got here tonight. My husband has been going to bed at like 4 a.m. preparing for this. We're going to go all in for you, and I want you to go all in too. I don't want you to just go all in for us. I want you to go all in for you. And not just for you, but for your family and for your business. So if you're going to go all in, could you put all in the chat right now? Go all in. And we're going to do the all in chat. Oh man, you're an awesome bunch. I'm loving this. All in, all in, all in, all in. Okay, so now we're going to do something, and I'm going to watch to see if you're all doing it. We're going to raise our right hand, and we're going to do the all in pledge. I have never done this on a workshop before over Zoom, but I think it's going to be amazing, okay? I can't actually hold my phone at the same time, so this dress does not have pockets, everybody. That's a crime. Okay, raise your right hand. I state your name, promise to be all in for my family, for my entrepreneur spouse. Trust me, they want you to be all in. For myself, I'm going to be all in for my employees. I'm going to be all in for my business. I'm going to be all in for my community. And I'm going to be all in for the world. Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Till death do us part. Do hard things. Hoorah. Okay, now that we're ready and we're all in, I have one more little challenge for you. And you know what? I'm going to give a date night out to the first person that I see in the chat that says this, okay? Who wants a date night? Who needs a date night? Whose business has been sucking their soul and they're like, I need a date night right now, everybody. Those entrepreneur spouses are like, yes, date night, please. Okay. Now I don't want you to put date night in the chat. This is what we're going to do. Just recently, I went to an event, and during the event, they did this thing where they yelled gold nugget. Like literally while they were listening, and it was a way for them to remember that they had gold nuggets. Now, you could yell gold nugget if you wanted to, but we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to put 10K. So you're going to put 10K by your notes. If it's a 10K idea, you're going to put 10K in the chat. If you think that was a really good idea, it helps give Josh energy, but it also helps the people in the room remember that that's a 10K idea. And why are we going to say 10K? We're going to say 10K because my husband's going to drop actual tactics for you tonight to close the gap that could get you 10K this week in your business. Maybe even tomorrow. Or maybe it's a mindset thing. Maybe you've been stuck in your mind and you can't break through, and it's a 10K mind bomb. So you're going to put 10K in the chat, and then y'all are okay. I saw one up here. Okay, there was one. Joshua Solomon, you put 10K like 10 times. So Joshua Solomon, you win a date night. Email eric.kelly@Warplan Studios, and he will get you your date night, okay? Man, this is a feisty group. Like feisty in all of the right ways. Are you prepared? Are you ready to close the gap? Are you ready to win 2024? I hope you're ready. Oh, I'm going to cry because I'm so excited. This is not supposed to happen. Oh, I forgot. I'm supposed to give away a pizza party too. I'll give a pizza party away later, but I don't know why I'm doing this motion. I'm sorry. I'm excited for you to close the gap because your family deserves it. And as an entrepreneur family, I know the struggles. And I'm hoping that you show up for yourself, go all in, get tons of 10K ideas that not just changes your life and your business, but your family tree. So without further ado, welcome to the stage, my husband, Joshua Latimer.
What's up? What's up? Testing my mic. Can you hear me? Can you hear me out there? Ashley, you crushed it. You made me all emotional right before I started. So how's my audio? Can you guys hear me okay? By the way, Ashley's right there, and we have like 2 little sets here at Warplan Studios, but we're good, right? Right?
They are good. It looks like they're good. They're saying, hey, Josh.
Okay. All right, I'm going to talk really, really fast. So if you're going to take notes, maybe use two hands if you have that special talent. No, but I am going to talk fast because I want to have a compact, dense amount of stuff to give you. And here's my promise to you to kick things off, okay? I'm going to have slides. I'm going to go back and forth between slides, and you looking at me here. The slides are way better than looking at me anyway. But here's my promise to you. It's to deliver to you decades worth of knowledge in 2 days. This is a 2-day workshop. We're going to start right now. I'm going to go really fast. I'm going to get into immediate value, and then we're going to slow down and breathe. Then we're going to go really fast. And then at the end, if we have a little bit of time, I can answer some questions and things like that. Some of the stuff you're going to learn might push you or challenge you, or you might get a weird feeling in your stomach like, no, that'll never work in my market. That's okay. Put a pin in it, but write it down anyway, because there's a better than average chance you're just not seeing the whole picture, and I'm going to do everything I can to serve you and answer all the questions. Building and selling 4 companies over many, many years in 3 different industries has taught me a lot. And what's taught me even more than that is working with people like you, knees to knees, toes to toes, for a really long time. I've learned more from that than anything else. My next promise to you is to give you do-it-now tactics. Instead of a bunch of fluff nonsense and waste 2 hours of your time. We take your time super seriously. My team has been praying for you. We've been praying for this event. We're praying for the internet connection to stay strong, because this is stretching us, right? But you're going to get do-it-now tactics. And then by the end of the day tomorrow, you're going to walk away with a 2024 roadmap. Yes, it's September. Yes, it's not 2022 yet, right? That's okay. We're going to build our plan to close the gap ahead of time. And my goal is that you win 2024 before it even starts. Who wants to win 2024 before it starts? All right, and as some bonuses here, there's 4 bonuses that are going to happen. The first 2 are guaranteed to you. The second 2 are possibilities for you. The first one is called 60 Profit Producing Ideas. This is a resource I'm going to give you. It took me weeks to compile it, and it's pretty juicy and epic. I mean, there's 60 individual compact things to make brain money. You know, one of my favorite quotes is that you always make more money with your brain than you ever will with your back. And this little resource is worth a fortune to you. And so I know one guy just from one of the items made $50,000 in less than 21 days. There's another guy that made $7,000 in less than a week. There's another guy that made $70,000 in a couple weeks, and he started crying because it was such a big deal. These are simple things, but most people aren't doing them. And we're going to get into that. The second bonus is the FRAP formula. Many of you probably already have it. You maybe have bought it or paid for it. We've sold it for, a couple $100 down to like $7 to $47 as we tested our marketing for it. You're going to get it for free tonight at the end. And it gives you 12 actionable, implementable things to make money without spending any money at all on ads. Brain money. And then, of course, the grand prize giveaway, we're going to reveal more details about what that is tomorrow, but it's worth over $20,000. It's a real number. It's a big deal. And the way that you enter to win that is by sharing on Facebook the banner, the picture, right? Which you should have gotten your confirmation email when you registered. If you share that, take a screenshot and email eric.kelly@warplanstudios.com. And Eric, if you're listening back there, let's check in on the control room real quick. How you guys doing back there? We're off to a good start, right? Look at my people. Those are my people. Drop your email in the chat so they know where to send that, and you'll be entered to win tomorrow for that. And then there's going to be other giveaways that Ashley is going to do. And my job is to help you make money and profit faster. And unless you hate money, here's your first batch of 10K ideas. Now, these first ones are going to be more high level, and I'm going to go pretty quick. But they're very powerful. Let's get right into it. First one is called creating a decoy offer. A lot of people don't even sell packages yet. I think most people do in home services. It depends on the industry that you're in. There's nuance, right? But have you ever considered what a decoy offer is? Take, for example, movie theater popcorn. This is a really simple example. The human brain is programmed to work via comparison. So if you're trying to sell your stuff to people, you don't want to give them yes or no options. You want to give them either or options. You don't want to say, will you hire me, yes or no? You want to say, do you want to go with the luxury package or the platinum? Which one makes more sense for you? And then when it comes to the way that you price your services, we have to use human behavioral psychology to our advantage. And you don't have to go to college. I didn't. You don't have to be a genius to do any of this stuff. I'm not. I'm just a nerd who's obsessed with learning. And I'm bringing back this stuff to you. The best part about the knowledge I'm going to share tonight is that it's not just theoretical. It's stuff I've tested and done in my own business, and I've done with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lots of different service industries in a variety of industries, service companies in a variety of industries. So if you look at this picture, the medium popcorn is purposely priced to be a bad deal. This is called a decoy. And the way that you create a decoy is by moving up or down the price of one of your packages to make the one you want them to buy look awesomer, basically. So your brain is already thinking $6.50 for a medium, it's only 50 cents more, right, for the large. You can do that with cleaning, you can do it with HVAC, you can do it with service agreements, you can do it with warranties, all kinds of weird things, but wrap your head around that high-level concept to start. The second concept is to create a high-ticket offer. Some of y'all, the most expensive thing you sell ain't that expensive. And I gotta tell you a secret. You not selling expensive stuff doesn't stop people from buying expensive stuff. It just stops them from buying it from you. And I want you to sell the expensive stuff, right? There's a segment of the population that always buys the most expensive thing. And what was really hard for me with this one was the way that I grew up with parents that loved me, but very blue collar, maybe middle class or lower middle class when I was really young, was that we didn't buy super expensive stuff. It was like a big deal to go to Ponderosa. Anybody go to Ponderosa? I thought that was like a Ruth Chris steakhouse when I was growing up. You know, it turns out it's not. It's just Ponderosa. But the point is when you create something more expensive for sale, it has two benefits to you. The first benefit is that it makes your core offer look more attractive. The second benefit is that someone is eventually going to buy it. And you just have to test me on this because it always happens, and it might happen in 2 weeks, it might happen in 2 months. But if the most expensive package you sell, if you're a pressure cleaning company, is a couple $1,000 house wash, let's create an $8,000 or a $10,000 package that breaks people's brains. It has massive, profound effect on you selling your $2,000 thing because they're going to be shocked and like sickened by this insane $8,000 house wash. And then when you walk it back to, you know what, I don't think you really need this one, but what I recommend is our 2K Core Platinum Super Whiz Bang package. And I think this is going to meet all of your needs, right? And it makes it look better. And then from time to time, someone will actually buy the high ticket thing. One of the guys that I learned from that no one knows about, he's one of my secret ninja sources, if you want to be a nerd like me, is a man named Rory Sutherland. He's this crazy looking guy. He's got some TED Talks out there. Most people don't know who he is unless you're a marketer who's really deep in the weeds. But he's the chairman of one of the largest advertising companies in the world called Ogilvy on Advertising. And he told this incredible story about how Rolls-Royce stopped selling their cars at car shows. And this makes a profound point even for your small business. They stopped selling their cars at car shows because they were like the premium expensive one, and they were getting lost in the mix. There wasn't enough contrast between their thing and all the other things. So they cut their budget on car shows and started only displaying their cars at air shows. And what's so fascinating, and I know this will make sense. If this makes sense, what I'm about to say, type "makes sense" in the chat. That will tell me that I'm not being totally insane and not making sense. But here's what he did. They took the Rolls Royce, they took them to the air show. And when you have billionaire sheiks of oil nations looking at $50 million jets all day, turns out that they'll go buy 2 or 3 Rolls Royce as an afterthought, like when they're leaving the air show, right? The reason this happens, it's kind of like when you're at the gas station or the convenience store and you're buying something and you're like, oh, I'll grab this candy bar real quick. People buy Rolls Royces like the candy bar real quick because it's juxtaposed against 50 and 80 and $100 million airplanes. It just creates a difference, right? Does that make sense? Are they saying it makes sense? I see a few. I can see it on my monitor. Okay. All right. Thank you. Here's the next big idea. Kill whales, not minnows. Years ago, and many times, I've taught this concept called whale fishing. And when you're in your own head, it's hard to imagine, or if you're really small, that you could be the person to get the $100,000 cleaning contract or the $1 million cleaning contract. But I have a little secret for you. The people that are the fancy people that get all these big fancy contracts, here's the secret. They're not smarter than you. They're not better at the thing than you. There's like no difference at all. There's only a difference between their ears. And what's really cool about pursuing, if it makes sense for your industry, high ticket commercial work is that there's way less people playing in that game. And so it's less noisy. And in certain instances with certain industries, you can make a fortune doing this. And so with the economy getting weird, which we're going to talk about in a minute, there's certain industries that are actually crushing it despite economic factors that are good to target, such as, I'll give you a hint, assisted living facilities are massively profitable. There's a lot of consolidation because 10,000 people a day turn 65 and have been for like a long time. And so that is a really lucrative industry. And these buildings, you can do $5 and $10 and $20 and $30 and $40,000 jobs for them, but we got to get organized. The story of my whale fishing, where I got, one client worth more than 100 of my regular clients, was General Motors. And we got it was over $300,000 a year contract to clean windows because of one person, one relationship, a series of conversations, and incessantly following up for quite a long time. That contract, I sold my business a long time ago, but they stayed with my company for like, I think 8 years, which is over $2 million from one relationship, one whale. Okay, is your head exploding? This is powerful. Here's the other thing. Only start targeting the affluent, or as part of your marketing mix, start trying to specifically target the affluent more than you do now. And I'm not talking about the McMansion people, because everybody with an $800,000 house is not affluent. These are the shiny people. These are the up to debt in their eyeballs people. They call them the aspirational affluent, right? I heard a story, my wife sent me this article from Neiman Marcus, which is a high-end retailer. And this was about a year ago or earlier this year. It said that they're only targeting ultra wealthy customers who can spend around $27,000 a year. And so here's the question, like, why? It says at the bottom there in little tiny print, Neiman Marcus is no longer bothering with the idea of aspirational luxury. So what does this have to do with home service? It has everything to do with everything, because business is business. The economy's doing weird things. Have you noticed? Is it just me? Am I crazy? Are electric prices higher? Are your vendors' prices going up? Things are weird. Cost of living is going up. The government says that inflation is 6%. You think that's really real? I don't think that's really real. I think it's faster than that. So we need to focus on higher ticket jobs and targeting people who aren't affected by the economy the same, which are affluent people. People that are really actually wealthy. Here's a couple things you might not know. Number one, they don't care if the price of gas is $7 a gallon. It doesn't change their buying behavior the same way as it does the rest of us. The other thing you should know is that they don't always have big, fancy, shiny things. A lot of the wealthiest people live in a 35-year-old house. And so you can do market research in your towns and pull lists of people that have wealth, and you'll be shocked because they're in the older neighborhoods. They have a nice manicured lawn. I think the older generation, God, they love a manicured lawn so much. It's such a big deal. So be careful picking out who you're targeting. Here's another big idea. Market small for big results. I wear this hat that says Slay Like David because I love Jesus, and it's an epic Bible story, but it's a powerful business principle too. And here's what I mean by market small. You can actually lower your advertising costs, increase your results just by marketing smaller than you are now. What this means is we want to dominate neighborhood by neighborhood, or subdivision by subdivision, cul-de-sac by cul-de-sac. We want to create momentum in these little pockets, right? These pockets. And later in today's presentation, I'm going to show you how to find the pockets, which is really effective. But here's the thing. So check out this stat. So Stanley Steamer is a huge carpet cleaning business. They do $400,000 a day in revenue cleaning carpet. Can you believe this? Now, carpet cleaners hate Stanley Steamer. They constantly gripe about them. And there's True Green is the lawn fertilization people everybody's mad at, and the quality's not good. I get all that. But the average carpet cleaner in the United States makes $326 a day in revenue. And so the question is, like, what is the difference? Well, we're going to talk about those differences here in a few minutes. But what I want to point out now is that if you are fighting Goliath, if you feel like the little guy, the underdog, you don't need a big 15-pound spear like Goliath had. You don't need all the armor that you don't fight Goliath the way that Goliath fights. You do it with a little rock and a little sling. And we go neighborhood by neighborhood. We grow from the inside out. And we can saturate little communities at a time and become a nightmare to compete with very inexpensively. Here's the next big idea. Secure joint venture partners now. Don't wait, do it now. This is one of those things that's actually, I was nervous to even put on here because people think they're like, oh yeah, I heard that. But the reality is people aren't doing it. for the most part. You know, Myron Golden, who I look up to a lot, and he's a good friend of mine, a mentor, he says, Josh, the biggest threat to learning is thinking that you already know. Because when you think that you already know something, your brain turns off. And you can't absorb the nuance and the gold and the little things where all the real money is. You can't hear it. Your brain shuts off. And it's not your fault. It's just the brain is programmed to pay attention to novel things, new things, shiny things, right? So when I say go talk to other business owners in your area that aren't your competitors, but they serve a similar customer, and go have coffee and shake their hand, right? And like build a relationship with them and then do joint venture deals with each other. It's very simple. Why don't they leave a leave behind for your service after every job that they do? And you could return the favor. Why don't you swap email promotions to each other? You can interview each other on social media, right? There's little things that cost no money, and there's lots of them to create money like this. And I'll tell you something else. These people you're going to reach out to, they are freaking out and they need this too, but they're not thinking this thought in their brain right now. They're not thinking it. What would you rather have? Would you rather just have the money you get from your own marketing and your own business? Or do you want that plus all this other money from all these stick figures? The stick figures are going to send you money. And if you are the leader that organizes something like this, you will be rewarded. You can swap and share the cost of direct mail together. You can put a best of Portland, like Brandon Vaughn did, or a best of Miami, or whatever your market is, and have 15 companies on it. All of them pay for it, and you get a half a page in the back for free because you organized it. You can distribute it across all of your customer lists. You can use voicemail bombs with each other's lists where they endorse you. Hey, a lot of our customers are asking us, if we know a good reputable carpet cleaner, and it turns out we do. So we would feel bad if we didn't at least let you know who they are. Here they are, boom. And the customers win, your non-competing joint venture partner wins, and you win. Here's another big idea. Acquire your competition. This one intimidates people because they believe a lie. One of the biggest lies I want to smash on this training is that there's this huge monumental difference between you and where you're at and the fancy people you see on the internet. And it's a facade. It's not really true. I am disappointingly average at almost everything. And I am very boring to hang out with in real life. I'm a nerd and I'm passionate about marketing, okay? But there's not a lot of differences. Or you look at the people that are quote unquote the leaders, there's little things they do different. But most of it has to do with their brain and what they think is possible. So when I tell you go acquire your competition, you might be thinking, but I don't have the capital. I don't have the connections. I don't have the experience. Here's the truth. You don't need it. You can learn it. Watch a YouTube video for 5 minutes. I'll tell you something. When the economy ratchets down even more, which I believe is going to happen, people are going to panic, but not you, okay? Because there's opportunity literally everywhere. But we're going to think out of the box asymmetrically. But you need to start contacting your competitors now. Hey, I know we're competitors. I'd love to have a working professional relationship with you. By the way, if you're ever thinking about selling, or if you're going to move, or you need to shut down the business, I'd love to have a conversation about acquiring your business. You can buy businesses for no money. You can structure the deal where you just pay them a little bit for each job that actually comes to you, and it takes all the risk off of your stuff, right? And this happens all the time. I've helped over 50 people sell or buy a company in the home service industry the last 10 years, and it's not that big of a deal. So get over that myth that you have to hit some level to do it. You could do it now. Okay, and here's the reality. The service business itself as a business model, it's hard. It's really true. It's not that easy, and there's reasons why. I'll tell you some of the reasons. You already know this, but I want you to understand that I understand. When you grow, you need more money to grow. A local service company needs capital just to make more money, and it's different for each industry a little bit, but generally speaking, you got to go buy a truck. You got to buy a fancy influx reverse valve flux capacitor majoogie thingy. But you have to hire 2 humans. You have to train them. You have to put them in uniforms. There's like expense just so you can grow your capacity. If you have a really small company doing 600,000 or 700,000 and you want to get to 1.2, well, we need another 100 grand. We need a bigger marketing budget. We need all these things. So capital is a real constraint. And then there's the seasonality of it. My cleaning and pressure cleaning company in Michigan had a 34-week season. And that was hard, because I had to make 12 months worth of money in 8.5 months, because I had to figure out what to do with employees when they don't get paychecks for 2.5 months, right? And then there's the barrier to entry. Any of you, I'm just curious, Have any of you trained your own competition before? Right? Because it can be cheap to get started in the business, freaking people are getting in these businesses every 2 seconds. Pressure cleaning is a great example because there's a lot of like TikTokers now and YouTube channels that are talking about start your pressure cleaning business, make $1,000 a day. And so you have droves of people going to Home Depot, throwing a pressure cleaner in their trunk, knocking on people's doors and trying to do $99 house washes, right? This is true for maid service. It's true for all the cleaning trades and all that. And then labor itself. I wrote a little booklet, which you'll actually get access to it tonight as a bonus. I can't even remember the full title because it's so long, but it's about how managing employees is like herding cats. Like you're a professional cat herder, you know, like a cowboy would herd cattle. like you're running around and you're like trying to hold it all together. It's hard. The revenue per employee is low compared to a lot of other industries. And here's one of the dirty little secrets, okay? I'm just going to be super transparent with you because one of my themes for this is radical candor, to try to be literally transparent. I'm the guy that a lot of people call when they get to 2-3 million and they realize this isn't that great. I want to start a software company. I want to start be a coach or something. I want to do e-commerce. I want to sell my company, right? And there's really 3 decisions that happen when you hit a million, you know, ish. What happens is once you hit a million, you realize it's not as magical as you thought it was. Okay, it's still good. It's still awesome. If you're poor and you want to have a 6-figure income, yeah, you'll make 100 grand if you do a million. But if you're still in growth mode, you're not going to make a lot more than that because you're constantly reinvesting into more trucks. And so once you get to a million, you're so fatigued from the effort of pushing the rock up the hill, you got to make a decision. Do you want to sell, scale, or switch? And I think a lot of people on the internet that try to act like they have it all together, well, then I'm having backroom conversations with them. They're like, Josh, I'm only making like 110,000 a year. I thought I'd be making 300,000. I thought I'd have a doctor's income at this point. It's taken me 10 years to get here. And I'm like, hey, I get it. Because people ask me, Josh, why'd you sell your service company? Well, I sold it because there's better opportunity vehicles, right? But with that being said, here's the caveat. If you don't hammer the nail all the way into the board with the opportunity that's in your hand right now, you're going to fail at all the other things anyway. Because something in your brain happens when you push the rock over the top of the hill, when you persevere, and it permanently up-levels you. And if you get distracted when your business is still small, you're going to wind up being even broker because your focus will get diluted. But this is a real thing. And you know, tonight we're going to talk about how to close the gap. Tomorrow, we're going to really talk about how to close the gap in terms of the mathematics behind it. Here's some of the other reasons that this business is hard. There's software companies that want to charge you monthly subscriptions. New ones popping up every day. Is it just me? How many monthly subscriptions do we all have? Not just talking Netflix. I mean, even specifically for the home service, it's like there's everything is a SaaS product now. And I want to give you insight as to why that's happening. Part of the reason it happens is because people close the gap, they hit a million, they switch. And now they want you to buy their gizmo, okay? And I'm not against you buying their gizmo, but it's one of the reasons this is hard. Then we have marketing agencies and gurus. Have you noticed there's 10 times more marketing agencies today than there was 5 years ago? Type yes in the chat if you've seen ads of 22-year-olds being like, I'm going to get you leads, totally, give me money, right? I'm totally going to do it. It's going to be awesome. And these people aren't bad people. They just watch a lot of Alex Hormozi, and then they're in your DMs trying to get you to sign up for their marketing agency. And then the guru thing, you know, I don't think we need more 19-year-old life coaches. If you agree, say amen in the chat. And then there's private equity, which is another big elephant in the room that we're going to talk about. But the bottom line is that there's sticky fingers after your money. If you know that that's true, say true in the chat. I can see the chat. There's sticky fingers. And the service business is already complicated and hard with limited margins. You're trying to scale, which is expensive. And then you have the software and the agencies and the gurus and the private. There's people like lurking. It's like you're in shark-infested waters. And my job is super, super simple because Close the Gap is all about this. I want to help you slay the Goliath of marketing yourself. Okay, I want you to understand how to close the gap so that you don't get eaten by the wolf of Wall Street, but instead you can become the wolf of Main Street. And that's a pretty cool phrase, isn't it? Shout out to Rick Wallace. He totally gave that to me. He's like, yeah, the wolf of Main Street. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Here's how the game works. Let's talk about the FRAP formula for a second. The FRAP formula, FRAP is an acronym for frequency, referrals, average ticket, and pricing. Now, here's the problem is you might see it and be like, oh, yeah. But I want you to listen really carefully to what I'm about to explain to you because it's absolutely true. 2 of the companies I've sold were to VC or private equity-backed firms, and I have an inside sneak peek, not just from myself, but from a lot of I have friends in private equity too, and I want to tell you a secret. FRAP is how you get wrecked or you get rich. So I'm going to go back to the slide just for the kids in the back that were like, referrals, really? We're going to come on the workshop and talk about referrals? Just hold on a second. Frequency, referrals, average ticket, and pricing. This simple thing is what happens when a distressed business owner reaches their limit. Maybe there's a sickness and they sell their company prematurely. And these private equity, they're lurking, waiting for you to have a bad day so they can buy your company for pennies on the dollar. And if this hasn't happened to you yet, I'm telling you, it's happening way more now than ever, and it's going to continue to increase, and there's reasons for it we won't even get into tonight. But there's consolidation happening in most home service industries. And you can get rich if you know how to play the game, or you can get wrecked. Because what happens is the minute they buy your company, you know what the first thing they do is? The minute the ink is still wet, it's signed, it's done, what they do is they apply FRAP to your business. They start incessantly marketing to your past customers. They call them on the phone, they text them, they send them stuff in the mail. They literally squeeze money out of your list in ways you were too freaked out to do. They focus on referrals, they raise your prices, they manipulate pricing at different times of the year, and they extract profit. And it's actually common that in less than a year after they buy a company like yours, the enterprise value of the business is double. And the sad part that breaks my heart is you could just do that right now. And it doesn't even cost money. FRAP doesn't even take money. It takes creativity. It takes art. We're going to talk about art. So these private equity and VC-backed firms, some of them could be good, but most of them are snakes in suits. And they haven't worked a day in their life. They don't have dirt under their fingernails. They don't know what it's like to actually knock on a door and get rejected and have to close a deal. They don't know. They have a Harvard education and a trust fund. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Now, I know this all seems like super negative. I have super good news for you. This whole thing is positive. It's going to be fire. We haven't even gotten started yet. The good stuff is still coming. Here's the thing. Did you know that more than 2 million people became millionaires last year? Did you know that? That's 6,800 people per day. And the reason I put this stat on here for you, by the way, this is the year after COVID, right? I think about a year. The reason this is so huge for you to understand is because I need you to know that success is not rare. Like write this quote down and then write 10K, because this one quote can change your life. You ready? There are a lot of people dumber than you that already have what you want. It's true. There are so many people less talented than you, less caring than you, less empathetic, less clever, less creative, less magnetic than you that already have what you want. These 6,800 people per day are not magical unicorns, okay? By the way, 80% of them are first generation, which means it wasn't mommy, daddy's money. It means they did something, they found some leverage, they did something that most people don't do, and they broke free. And so remember, success is not rare, even if it feels rare to you. It might be rare in your family tree, but it's not as rare as you think it is. And it might be rare in your neighborhood or where you grew up, but it's not actually rare. And the people that are winning are not as impressive as you think as well. And I believe that you guys are in the right place at the right time. And one of the reasons I believe that is because I am totally convinced now, and have been for a year, that we are headed into a serious recession. And this is not a bad thing. It's a good thing if you're prepared, if you know how to close the gap. If you go to Google Trends, which is free, you can search on Google Trends for keywords, and you can see how much search volume there is for a word. This is a screenshot from Google Trends. You can go replicate this in 5 minutes. In 2008, you can see that people started searching for the word recession a whole bunch of times, right? Well, look what happened last summer. It's even more than it was in 2008. And this is an indicator, among many other indicators, that this is going to happen. And it might still take a year, but I don't know. Some people have already noticed that their phones are not ringing the same, right? They've noticed that it's a little bit harder. There's something weird about it. But you can win bigger than ever if you understand how to close the gap. Okay, I'm going to take a drink of water. Tell me how you're feeling in the chat. Give me 10 seconds here. What's up? Studio team back there, tech team, how we doing? Doing a check-in?
All good.
They're all wearing Do Hard Things shirts. Do hard things. And if you notice, look, wait, go back there. What video do you guys have on in the background back there?
It's Rick Astley. Rick Astley.
You are weird. You guys are weird.
You just got
That is weird. Okay. Anyway, sorry, not to get distracted. If you're not familiar with me or who's speaking to you, I'm going to spend just a second, tell my story that some of you have heard 36 times, because it's really important. Before I get into the really good tactics, you have to know who's speaking to you so that the weight of it hits different. Because, you know, here's a lesson in life, is that who people think the messenger is more important than the message. This is why someone like Gary Vee can tweet never give up and it gets 100,000 shares. And then when I like tweet never give up, like my mom likes it and my grandma, that's it, right? It's not the message that was different, it's the perception. So I want to make sure you have a proper frame. I don't have all the answers, but I have a whole bunch of them, especially if you have a local business owner. I started out in a trailer park, married 21 years ago to my high school sweetheart, Ashley, who you just met. We went bankrupt in my early 20s. I was humiliated. I didn't even tell anybody that happened for 10 years. I started my first service company with this actual car. This is a 1993 Chevy Cavalier. And there's a ladder on the roof of it. And yes, that's me in that horrible, it was a Polaroid picture. It's an old picture. Who remembers Polaroid pictures? Anyway, this car was so embarrassing that I would have to hide it before I'd go do estimates. I would hide it around the corner and then go knock on doors, okay? So don't despise small beginnings. Since then, I've built and sold 4 companies, from software to a large coaching company. I've been involved in a lot of things. We have equity in 7 different enterprises now, and we're busy. And we also launched a nonprofit this year for Christian businessmen, which is awesome. I've coached over 1,000 local business owners. I had 1 million downloads in my very first podcast. I've helped over 100 people become millionaires in the same businesses that all of you have. Today, I charge up to $100,000 for private consulting, and that's really actually true, believe it or not, because when you take my brain and you apply it to a $2.6 million business and they go to 4.1 in 11 months, that's a value exchange that makes sense. Here's a picture of a check that's real from Rick. He's probably on here. What's up, Rick? I blurred out your info. And I've been quiet for the last 2 years, okay? After I stopped working in Send Gym day to day, I went quiet and I've been building. And I decided to go all in on my biggest venture to date, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. And over the last 13 months, I've spent 4,000 hours and over $1 million on this idea of closing the gap. And I'm going to kind of reveal the whole thing tomorrow. It's an idea that will help you close the gap. You already met my wife, Ashley. She's the founder of the Unicorn Squad, which is a support group for entrepreneur wives, which is a weird thing, but it's an amazing thing. You can learn about it. It's actually pre-launch. She already launched it, but it's closed right now, but you can get on a waiting list. If you either are the wife and the husband's primarily the entrepreneur, you might want to check that out. It's not always the case, of course, but for weird women that marry weirdos like me, y'all need each other, okay? That's all I'm saying. You can go to unicornsquad.com and check that out. And then this is my son, Maverick, okay? Our oldest. This is Tucker, our second oldest. If you notice, Tucker's taller than Maverick. Maverick gets a little bit of a sore spot, so don't bring that up if you meet Maverick. He's not too happy about that, but maybe he'll still grow out of it. Then we have Sawyer. Sawyer's our third oldest son. He's 13. He's what I call our well actually kid. Does anybody have a kid that when you say something, they correct you and they go, well, actually in the Cretaceous period, in 1773 that's Sawyer, super analytical, super smart bookworm. Then we have Finley, who was born in Costa Rica, and Judah. And they're not just stick figure people, they're real people. This is them. Here's the question before we get into the tactics. It's what's the real difference between high achievers and everyone else? What do you think it is? Here's what I say it is. They've mastered 2 things that most people miss. And these are the writer-downers, art and science. Today, for the whole rest of the day, we're going to talk about art. Because art means more than you think it does, and it's a very powerful thing. It'll make you a ton of money. They've mastered the art of marketing, the science of numbers. So another way to think of it is marketing and numbers. You know, most of the big dogs making a lot of money, including the Stanley Steemers of the world, they're abnormally good at marketing and they have perfect numbers. If I call Tommy Mello on his cell phone right now and I say, what's your cost per lead in Arizona? He would know it. He would know it in seconds. He would know every single number off the top of his head. That's why he's going to be a billionaire in 2 years. Another thing people don't know about me is about, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I wrote a chapter in a book for Russell Brunson. I don't talk about it a lot because it was just doing him a favor for this book thing he was doing. But Russell asked me to do it. It was an honor. I was like, this is really cool. And it was all about for local businesses and how they could use funnels and stuff. And Russell's the founder of ClickFunnels, if you don't know him. But Alex Hormozi wrote a chapter in that book. And I actually know Alex, not so much now, but we've spent time together in real life. And since he decided to get super internet famous, that's kind of cool. But here's the question. How come people like Russell and Alex get these insane, impossible, huge outcomes? I mean, Russell built a $100 million business in 3 years. Hormozi made $17 million in profit his first year when he launched Gym Launch. Well, the answer is they have the art and the science figured out. They're obsessed with the art and the science, like obsessed. These people are obsessed with numbers and marketing, obsessed, okay? And if you do that, your life can change. But there's one more problem that needs to be addressed that we're going to talk about tomorrow as well, which is AI. And I'm not talking about artificial intelligence, actually. I'm talking about Alex Hormozi. No, not actually. But I'm talking about AI means accountability and implementation. So when I look back at the whole scope of my career and trying to help people and doing it poorly in the beginning and then getting a little bit better and getting a little bit better and then getting some big results, when I look back, the art, the science, and the AI is the game if you want to make lots of money. And if your aim is to not make way more profit, then don't worry about anything I'm saying. But if you imperfectly, as an imperfect regular person like me, if you can nerd out and understand the nuance and the art and the numbers and have accountability and implementation, that is the bedrock of success, period. And the reason I put Alex on this slide is because when I was having breakfast with him years ago, I was at a hotel and I was eating a waffle. I was literally eating a waffle, pouring syrup on my waffle, and he was sitting 1 foot from me to my right, and he's eating a veggie omelet, and he is built like a tank, right? And I turned to Alex, I'm like, hey, Alex, I'm trying to make small talk. In my defense, before I tell this story, I was just trying to like be friendly, okay? I wasn't having an existential life crisis, but I'm like, Alex, hey man, I'm pouring syrup on my waffle. I'm like, you got any like workout tips for me? You know, I was like, I got 5 kids, dad bod. I'm not in shape. I'm A shape. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing that type of thing. And then he turns to me from his veggie omelet and he goes, Josh, do you really need me to tell you, or do you already know, but you're just not doing it? That's what he said to me. Okay. And I shrunk to like an inch tall and my ego is completely nuked from orbit. And the thing is, he didn't say it mean, by the way. He's a very nice guy, wicked smart. He's unbelievably talented. But what he said was irrefutably true. Can we all agree? I'm not confused about eating birthday cake for breakfast. Like I'm not confused why I have puffy cheeks, okay? I don't have an information problem. It's like not that complicated, okay? I'm eating a waffle, he's eating the thing. So art, science, and AI. Why do I look like this, okay, instead of this? It's very simple. It's because of accountability and implementation, right? Because we don't often have an information problem. We have a behavior problem. Can I get an amen? We don't have an info problem. We don't need 36 more books, probably. Really. We don't need to join 14 coaching programs. We don't need 6 certifications. None of that's bad, but if you want to close the gap and you want to make it rain and you want to feel empowered and you want more profit, art, science, and AI. That's the game. Who here wants the 100% always works guaranteed success formula? If you want it, say, I want it, Josh. Say, I want it. If you don't say it, I can't give it to you. I can't do it. Are you saying it? You got to type it in the thing. We got to have fun. We got to have a back and forth. And here's a little quick sidebar for people watching live on Facebook or YouTube. The party's going to end here for you, not for everybody on Zoom. I wanted to give you a taste test. We haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet, but you have to go to warplan.com and actually register. It'll redirect you right into the Zoom room with all of our friends. And there's a lot of people in here. There's almost 400 people in the Zoom room right now. And you can be in there too, but we're going to cut in like 30 seconds from here. So you're going to go to warplan.com, put your email in, and then you'll get registered for both days of the training, but it will also redirect you to here right now. So go do that. I'm going to give you 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. Let me look at the control room. You tell me when